You look good, you have all of the something there about you. Yes, goody!
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Goodgal podcast, and I am here with none other than Councillor Waynette Strachan. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I am hungry, but I am good.
So, fun fact, guys, me and Waynette have been friends for a very long time. So I thought it was very important, to have a conversation about just kind of the government and like local government elections just happened. So I saw where a lot of people were confused and just kind of giving some insights for somebody who is actually in it. Now tell us about your background in terms of, how you got into government and where all of that started.
So my interest in politics started from my family. I grew up seeing my mother in politics, my grandfather in politics, at the grassroots level, of course. And then as I grew older, I became interested for myself. I started researching different parties, but most of the People's National Party. And then from there, in 2015, I became youth mayor for Kingston and St. Andrew, and that's where my love for local government started. At that level.
Okay. So local government was really your passion. So speaking of that, what is the difference between like the local government elections and the general government elections, and why is it like important to vote? Because like me now, I'm like, oh, I can just vote in the general one, for example, and I do have to vote in the local one.
Well, it's two separate elections. So your parish council elections is separate from your general elections. Your general elections determine who your member of parliament is. So Jamaica's electoral system, we have 63 constituencies, and those constituencies are further divided into electoral divisions, of which you have 228.
Okay.
So your parish council elections are for your electoral divisions. Your general elections selects your member of parliament.
Okay. So what are the roles and responsibilities of a councillor?
So the roles and responsibility of a councillor is pretty wide, but if I should like just
summarize,
it would really be to develop and maintain infrastructure, to oversight for public cleansing, such as your garbage collection, the cleaning of your drains, the cleaning of your gullies, and other public facilities. So for instance, if you should have a KSAC park or recreational facility. When I say infrastructure, speaking to your parochial roads, that's any road that runs off a main road, which is is a pretty hefty sum. So your local government council is responsible for that, as well as collaboration with community-based organizations. So your citizens association, your neighborhood watches, just to foster community involvement and participatory governance among citizens and the elected representative.
So you guys are really like on the ground with the people. You're the first point of contact to the community.
Your councillor is your first port of call, because the councillor serves at a more intimate level, governing and overseeing things that directly affect you. And it can, even though it's not written, there's a little bit of social service in that as well, because your councillor is likely to be the first person you call in the event of anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a very intimate, personal relationship between community and councillor. Okay.
Because your MP operates at the macro level. Below your MP is your councillor.
Okay.
So it's your councillor, then your member of parliament. Okay. In most cases, member of parliament and councillors work hand in hand, and that's the best synergy to have. When you have the macro level and the second level working together, but both are equally important. And if I were to say, and I'm not being biased, your councillor is just as important as your member of parliament.
For sure, because you guys speak to things that directly affect us right now.
Because if all your street lights should go out right now, you would have a problem. If your garbage was not collected for 2 weeks, you would definitely have a problem. If all your drains became overrun, littered, there would be an issue. And the council is responsible for the oversight of those things to ensure that they remain in good stead and sanitary.
Okay. And then, so if, for example, if one party wins local government election versus general election, it doesn't matter in the sense of what does that signify, like, or it doesn't matter?
It matters because, well, even though the two are separate, so the councils operate somewhat independently because they have their governance structure.
Okay.
So the councils, two separate elections. So the councils is they're accountable to the mayor. The mayor then is accountable to the minister of local government. So
Okay.
for the ruling party, it's good because then for the ruling party to also have control over the council is good because it's one alignment.
One alignment. Okay.
So you have a mayor at that level, same party, same idea, same outlook on things.
Structure, all of that.
Your local government minister, same idea, same party. And then at the government level, so it's alignment.
Okay.
However, if one party wins one and the other wins the other, they still have some sort of independence, somewhat, because they're accountable to a mayor.
Okay.
Of their side.
Okay. Now, addressing the voter turnout, right? So with the recent local government elections, we're seeing where the voter turnout was only 29.6%. So this was reported by the Jamaica Observer. So, why do you think, or what do you think are some things why people are not voting as much in their local elections?
The local government elections have never really drawn the attention of Jamaicans, in my view. I think voter apathy can be caused by several things.
Yeah.
Firstly, my belief is that I believe that the apathy towards governance and elections overall, because even our general elections are pretty low. Persons feel as though there's no real difference between the two parties. People feel as though they have their individual voter casting will have no effect on the governance structure or system. And people just feel a lack of agency. And many other things, including the media, also contributes to apathy because, well, the business of media is news. And so they're going to bring the news that will drive media audience intake. So for me, I believe apathy can just boil down to lack of agency. People don't feel like they can make change with their individual ballot. A sense of hopelessness where they feel like, boy, there's no hope for this. No matter which one of them is the same thing. Or there's no real
education
principle difference between the two parties that they're voting for. And then a lack of education as well. A lot of persons vote for what they don't understand. And then the main thing too is that a lot of persons don't feel like they're represented. So it's like, what am I voting for? So several things can account for the apathy. But education, under-education of local government and what it does is also one of the major one for me.
So why do you think it's important, like, for everyday people to participate in local elections?
Your local government elections, not because I'm passionate about it, but that's what immediately affects you. Your member of parliament operates at a macro level. Your councillor is literally your first port of call for everything. If all your street lights should go out on your road right now, you would have a problem.
Yes.
If all your drains became overrun, wasn't desilted, if all your gullies became lit up with garbage, blocked, we would have a problem. So your local government representative handles everything that immediately affects you. So they are your first port of call for anything local, meaning so the government structure brings it literally down to your everyday basic necessities of which your local government representative addresses. So person should vote in local government election because it directly impacts you. And it immediately impacts you as well.
In the short term.
In the short term. And not only that, I believe that if we have national development starts local. So if we get it right at the local level across all 228 electoral divisions where we have councils that are working to ensure that at minimum you have your garbage collected, your street lights are working, your drains are cleaned, your facilities, public facilities, parks, etc. are taken care of.
And your personal problems too, because you guys, I know for sure that, for example, like with my councillor, he attends like the neighborhood watch meetings, things like that. Like, so there's a lot that I see. I can say that, I see the activation of councillors. But I live in a area where I have a neighborhood watch. I have that, all of that, right? But some people don't. So it kind of makes it difficult to see. Because that was the first time since I went to a neighborhood watch meeting where I can say, okay, I see my councillor and he's hearing the things. And it wasn't just the things that we can think about. It was just like, hey, are doing a community fish fry, for example, and I want you to come. So showing up, representing, just be connecting with the people, I think too.
Right, and I think some credence, a lot of persons will tell you, I don't even know my council, some credence must be given when you have organizations such as a neighborhood watch or a citizen association. It gives them a forum to be present, because at best, in any one walk, you won't see everybody.
Yeah.
But you'll get to know people more through associations, through neighborhood watches, through any citizens group, actually, where your council is active and you're able to have a platform, a setting, a time frame. And that's another thing that contributes to apathy. Persons not knowing their representative or not being able to point to their initiative. Not to say that it's not being done, but they aren't informed or they aren't, aware.
Okay. Very good points. Now, going back to a little bit about general elections, because we're past the local level now, general elections are coming up. I just want to kind of give people an idea of why is it important. We get it at the local level, but why is it important to just vote in general? Local, you can say local and general, but just why is it important to vote in general? Because, or give some tips then on how people can use their kind of vote. Because I've always heard people say, voting your interest. So if you hear something that is aligned directly with your interest, vote in that way. Do you agree with that? Or what is some suggestions that people can say, okay, yeah.
Why a person should vote?
Yeah, why you should vote or participate in the process.
Right. I believe in participatory governance where the citizens are involved in policies that are made. I would tell persons to vote for the government or to vote based off of policy. I believe a large percentage of the turnout that does go out to votes along party lines. So they'll vote because of their loyalty to the PNP, or they'll vote because of their loyalty to the JLP. I would say vote for policy. Vote for the person who has worked. Because the truth is, once we are living here, there is a right and also a responsibility on our end to go out and exercise our franchise. Not just because of voting sake, but even women before weren't allowed to vote. So know that persons have fought for that. You now have the power within you to change that. A lot of persons complain, well, the two of them are the same. Well, there are other persons who are trying to enter the political landscape who don't have the support. And so if the policy that you want to see happen or the change that you want to see happen, it may be in the candidate that's a Renee Moncrief, but Renee Moncrief isn't getting your support, or Renee Moncrief might need your one vote to advance the policy that you would like to see happen or the change that you want to see. I believe your individual ballot makes a difference because you would have registered your option for a better Jamaica, whichever party that is. So vote on and vote for the person who you see doing the work. Can't be along party lines. So I think the onus is on both candidates and voter. Candidate to demonstrate to the voter that I have your best interest at heart. Government or party to demonstrate to the electorate that this is our policy, this is how it will work. So there has to also be a mass education on civic pride and on voting. I believe that we don't push that enough, why it is important to vote. So there's also several public education campaigns that need to happen. So if you want to, if 100 of us decided that, boy, we don't like how Win the Division is functioning, but we're not going to vote. And Win the Division has been in this party's column for 35, 40 years. But 100 of us decided we're not going to exercise our franchise because it's not going to make any difference. And Win the Division, this candidate won by 100 votes or 90 votes. And 100 of you could have made a difference in how Win the Division or how Win the constituency would have turned out. So it adds up. So if we should take that position that our vote doesn't make a difference, it does, because one more person like you is thinking the same way. So not only, and your party may not win, or whoever you're voting for may not win, but you made a conscious decision or a conscious effort to vote for the change that you want to see. And it doesn't stop there. Your government is still accountable to you, whether you voted for them or not, because they're the government for all and not just for one. So I would say vote because you're a citizen of this country. Persons fought for your right to vote. Vote because you need to vote on policy and the direction that the country is headed in. Vote because somebody else is looking on you and sharing the same opinion as you as it relates to just their attitude to voting. Vote because your one vote can make a difference. We've seen instances where constituencies have won by one, constituencies have lost by one.
Yeah.
For example, I know you said macro-wise, but Raytown Division in 2016 won. They won that seat by one single vote.
One single vote, yeah.
And that one vote could have made a difference in policy, could have made a difference in things that were implemented. So vote because your vote can literally make a difference, and vote because you want to see Jamaica move forward. And once I believe that if we should start somewhat of a movement geared towards voting, the electorate would have more power, because if we stay in the position of complaining, not much will change.
Yeah. I like that. I think I'm inspired now. Like, I'm seriously inspired. So if and I'm sure other people will when listening to this, because I like that you said vote for policy, which I think is very important. Now, say if you've never voted before, what is the process to be able to vote? Can you go with your driver's license? Like, what is the...
So if you've not voted before, you would want to go to your local electoral office.
Okay.
To get enumerated.
Where do you find that? That's just on our website?
No. So you can find your location on the EOJ website, I'm assuming.
Okay.
But each constituency has an electoral office.
Okay.
That they can go and get registered to vote. Going to register is pretty simple. You just need to bring documentation proving that you're over the age of 18 years. Once you register to vote, they then give you a time frame in which they'll come to verify that you live at that particular address. And your voter's ID, your national voter's ID, will be ready in approximately a couple of months. I don't remember the exact month. And then you'll be on the next cycle.
Okay.
To be eligible to vote. It's pretty simple. Once you're on the voters list, though, you don't need your ID to vote. You can affirm or swear.
Okay. So once you're on the voters list, you don't necessarily need your ID, but it's just so you can. But you just need to be what was the word? Enumerated. Enumerated. Registered to vote. Okay, so it's a simple process. How can individuals contribute to building, stronger communities and shaping the future? What are some things that we can do as regular civilians to be better? I guess what do you call us? Voters or community members?
Oh, that's actually that question. I'll segregate it. First, to get informed.
Okay.
Know what local government elections are. Know what. No, it's not right. It's not wrong, but it's right.
It's right.
Right. Get informed on local government, its functions, and what your representatives ought to be doing. Because before you can hold a measuring stick, you must first know the indices that you're measuring for. So it's important for the citizen to be informed of what the representative is supposed to be doing at the local government level, so that they can hold them accountable, because pretty often the roles overlap in terms of what the council is supposed to be doing versus what the MP is supposed to be doing. And pretty often politicians get social services as a part of their portfolio, because naturally you're dealing with people. Unofficially, you are also socially responsible for some of those persons. So get informed, know what your representative ought to be doing, so that you can properly measure them and their effectiveness. The second thing is push the word and spread the positivity of voting and its impact. So start a campaign, and your campaign doesn't have to be funded and marketing oriented. Tell 10 friends, so we're going to vote the next election.
Yeah.
And win a business. If the party win or lose, we're going to vote on policy. Read the manifestos. Read what it is that they're actually putting out to say that this is what we're going to do. So vote with policy. You must know why you're voting. So why do I vote? I vote because I think that the policy position and the foundation of the People's National Party aligns with my own beliefs, my background, my family's beliefs, their background, and where Jamaica is now. I believe that some of the foundations that were laid by the People's National Party is a big part of it. So I vote based off of the ideas of the party and what the tenets on which the party was built, that I can find myself identifying with, as opposed to the other side. Not to say that they don't have good ideas, but from a foundational level and from a just general philosophy. I believe in the People's National Party.
And how it relates to me as a, okay.
Right, and in the effecting of my duties as a councillor, I believe that it aligns with where I'd want to see Jamaica go, because before Jamaica can go, the people must go with Jamaica. So just to focus on people. And then people at all levels, especially poor people.
Yeah. So you need to just basically be more informed to basically make a better decision and know the impact that your vote has. That's how we can be
right, because
better.
Your vote can make a difference. So get informed and get involved. Contribute your ideas as well. Both parties are open to suggestions. So if you believe that this shouldn't be going, let's take building approvals, for example. If you are an architectural student and you're saying, hey, I think we can find a way to reduce expenditure in this particular area of development, write a letter, send an email, request the ears of the people who can make the decision, so that you can actively participate in governance and you can have some agency as it relates to how decisions are made and how things are done, not only locally but nationally, and at least you'd have registered your own thoughts on a particular thing, and so you'll feel empowered just by the fact that you did it. So get informed, participate, get informed and get involved.
And just to touch on the point that you made, you can participate in the smallest level, because you can write a letter. You can say, hey, this community this community center may need two computers, this may need, Wi-Fi, and then you have companies who, so there are little things that you can do that sometimes you may not think you can, but you do have more power than you think.
Right. Yeah. So get informed, get involved, and be empowered. Because you're just being a citizen, you're already empowered.
Yeah.
You're a Jamaican.
True.
So you have the right to speak up. You have the right to get the ears of your elected representative, because these persons are elected to serve you. So it's not about a high up or this person is this, where there is a certain level of inaccessibility. You should be able to access your representative. You should be able to book a meeting and air your grosses.
Yeah.
So get involved, get informed, and be empowered.
Okay. Well, as we wrap up, I just want to say that I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. I'm very happy, and I know how hard you work, and I'm looking forward to see, your growth and where you go, and I really do believe in who you are as a person, and I know that your campaign or whatever you do will reflect that.
It's definitely for the people. So thank you to everybody who supported as well, and you're watching this. Thank you, Renee.
Well, that was an episode of the Goodgal podcast, and we will see you next week. Bye.